Hi, and welcome to Dadgames Teaches Pokemon, a Pokemon Basics series where I give beginners a friendly guide to the different elements of the Pokemon game. We have made it to part 3 of this Pokemon tutorial, and I am so excited to talk about today's topic, which are moves and all the machines. No need for any more introduction, so let's move on to the first topic of today's guide, moves. Moves are essentially the ability that Pokemon use as they battle. So whether the Pokemon attacks or defends or causes an effect, they will be using a move to do it. There are, in essence, 5 types of moves: offensive, defensive, buffs and debuffs, terrain changing, and status changing. Offensive moves are what will cause damage to your opponent's Pokemon, such as Flamethrower, or Tackle, or Thundershock. Defensive moves are moves that'll protect against oncoming attack from your opponent's Pokemon, such as Protect. Buff attacks, such as Swords Dance, will raise the stats of your Pokemon, while debuffs, such as Leer, will lower the stats of your opponent. Stats can be increased or decreased up to 6 times per stat. An important note on buffs and debuffs is that raising your Pokemon stat will always be more beneficial than lowering your opponent's stats. So if I were to raise my attack stats, it would raise by 50% each time and cap out at 300% higher than the base stat. Lowering my opponent's strength stat will fall by 33% and capping out at 75%, meaning it takes more to lower an opponent down than it does to raise your own stat. Terrain moves are just moves that changes the type of terrain and weather that the Pokemon are battling on. These require a whole other guide to go over, so we'll just leave that there for now. The last type of moves are moves that cause status condition. Status conditions are moves that causes a negative effect to Pokemon that either cause it to miss a turn or do damage to itself every turn, as well as other little effects. They do things like putting Pokemon to sleep or poisoning them. We will talk about the different status conditions in a future tutorial video, as they are an important part of strategy and even catching Pokemon. Each move has a way they attack. You have physical attacks, which is represented by this explosion symbol, and special attack, which is represented by this ripple symbol. These symbols become vitally important because it'll dictate which stat is used to execute the move. Certain Pokemon, such as Machamp, are going to naturally have a higher physical attack and will be better suited towards those kinds of moves, whereas Pokemon such as Alakazam will have a naturally higher special attack. These stats will dictate which stat the Pokemon will defend with. For instance, if you spend time raising your defense stat and get hit with a physical attack, then the physical attack will do less damage. However, in the same scenario, if you get hit with a special attack, then the defending Pokemon will use their special defense instead, so all that defense boosting won't have mattered. The last symbol is a yin-yang looking symbol, and that specifies a status move. Each move, much like each Pokemon, has one of the 18 types attached to it. To learn more about types, please watch my previous video where we go over all of that. The typing of a move is important because if you hit a Pokemon with a type it's weak to, then the Pokemon will receive double damage. So the other end, if you hit the Pokemon with a move it's strong to, it'll do half damage. Also, if you use a move that is the same type as a Pokemon, you get what's called a stab bonus, which makes the attack 1.5 times stronger. So, if you have a Charizard, use a fire type move against an Abomasnow, then the damage will be multiplied by 5.5 due to its double weakness to fire and its stab bonus. So it's always a good idea to have moves that are the same type as your Pokemon. Let's look at a move that does damage. Each move has a description that describes what type of damage it does, the move's base damage, the accuracy rating, and any extra info about a move. Pyro Ball is a unique move to Cinderace. As you see, when we are looking at the moves, you have its name, its type, and how much power points or PP it has. The points just dictate how many times you can use the ability before they need to recover at a Pokemon Center or with an item. Below we have the description of the move. The category has the explosion symbol, which means it's a physical move. The power of the move is below it, so we can see that Pyro Ball will do quite a bit of damage. The accuracy of the move is below that, which will show how often the move will hit your opponent. The lower the number, the more you will likely miss. And lastly, below that, it talks about the move. Pyro says the user attacks by igniting a small stone and launching it as a fiery ball at the target. This may also leave the target with a burn. So, if there are any added effects or anything else the move may do, it'll be put there. Now, there's a complicated formula to calculate the damage output and whether your move will be enough to take out a Pokemon or not. That would take a whole video to explain, which we may explain later down the road in another's guide. If it's something you're interested to, please leave a comment and let me know. Let's move on to the next topic and talk about machines. Machines are items that teach Pokemon moves. The way each of these machines work changes based on which generation of Pokemon you're playing. There are at least one of 3 types of machines in every Pokemon game. You have hidden machines or HMs, you have technical machines or TMs, and you have technical records or TRs. Nowadays in Pokemon, HMs are not really used, and instead they give you a Pokemon with the ability. But in the older generations of the game, HMs were moves that you had to teach your Pokemon that allowed them to do things in the world such as cut trees, move boulders, or swim in the ocean. Moves taught with an HM are permanent on that Pokemon, which usually meant you had a Pokemon on your team that you teach these moves to, or commonly known as an HM slave. Looking at you, Bidoof. TMs are one of the more changing items. In older versions, you could find or buy TMs, but you can only use them once. TMs usually contain some of the more stronger moves you can teach Pokemon and are usually expensive to buy, so you usually try to be smart in what Pokemon you try to teach it to. In newer versions, such as Sword and Shield, TMs are multiple use items and don't break, and you can teach them to as many Pokemon as you want. The difference between HMs and TMs are the moves you teach with a TM can be forgotten and replaced by a different move, unlike HMs, which are permanent. TRs are the newest version of the old TMs and can only be taught once before breaking. They were introduced in the newest generation and usually contain some of the most powerful moves in the game. These can only be obtained by purchasing them from a WOT trader in the wild area or by winning them in max raid dens. That is essentially the basics of moves and machines. Whether you're a complete beginner or someone who knows the games and wants to know it better, I hope you guys found this tutorial useful. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. Also be sure to leave a like and a comment to let us know if we missed anything or if there's anything you want us to cover. Check out one of our other awesome videos on this channel. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time.